So do you consider yourself intolerant or tolerant? I'm serious. Are you tolerant or intolerant? Today's show is going to challenge you on that. Stay with us. Yes, he's back. Scott Warrick. And the topic today, intolerance?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about your book.
Yeah.
I want to remind everybody about your book, Living the 5 Skills of Tolerance. But you've got something even bigger and better to talk to us about today.
Oh, yeah. I've been working on this for 10 years. And I will tell you, it's all because of the illegal and stereotyping types of programs that I've run into throughout the DEI process. Okay. So what I did was I'm looking, okay, what is tolerance? Because in 2016, the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, came out with its list of factors that need to be in your harassment training. Now, put your antennas up now, because if you haven't done your harassment training, which is also anti-bullying, man, you are behind the 8 ball.
Oh, that's a must. They know better. If they're watching this show, they know better.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, what has to be in that training? The EEOC says we are tired of getting inundated with these. The number one thing you got to have in your training is tolerance. Now, think what tolerance is. Tolerance, and I hear this from a lot of folks, I don't want to be tolerated. I want to be accepted. No, wait a minute.
Ooh.
Yeah. Tolerance.
Break that one down.
Oh, yeah. Tolerance means, and understand, it's not just the EEOC. The United States Supreme Court, in the Bostick decision a few years ago, which gave us sexual orientation and gender identity for protected classes, says you will be tolerant. You don't have to be accepting. Because think about it. If I tell somebody, I've got somebody who is a Christian fundamentalist, and they are working with somebody who is a Wiccan or a Satanist, can I tell that Christian fundamentalist that they have to be accepting of that Satanist? That's illegal. It's illegal. You will get nailed. Violates Title VII. So the United States Supreme Court recognizes that, the EEOC. So you've got a perfect in for your diversity program. We are going to be tolerant, and I'll tell you, tolerance, conflict resolution, bystander intervention, which means it's everybody's job to speak up, define bullying, and social media, because so much hate is out on social media. Now, just freeze right there. If those are not part of your harassment training, you are not in compliance, and bad things are going to happen to you one day.
Well, and so many, what kills me, Scott, I was talking to somebody today before the show, and she said, I had tried to talk to them about having actual, face-to-face interactive harassment training. And she said, oh, no, they decided to do videos.
Okay.
And, the videos are, well, I said, yeah, but your group, they're all remote. You really need to have some conversations here.
Right.
You really need to make sure that they're understanding what you're trying to say. Number one. Number two, you got to make sure they even show up. Because if they're remote and you're giving them a video, you don't know that they're actually watching it. So, when we're talking about actually providing this training, we really need to make sure that they're applying the training.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you, the COVID has changed the world, but you don't just pop in a video like they used to do whenever the teacher was hungover in school and didn't really want to teach anything, and you would, or it's video day. Okay. No. Actually, states like Illinois, California, New York, they all require this by statute, okay? So, but what you're supposed to do is you play part of the video, and again, what's got to be in that video now? Tolerance, conflict resolution, bystander, social media, all that stuff, bullying. You've got to have a mediator. You don't just put them in there and say, okay, see you in a little bit. make sure their monitors are on. Well, I don't like to have my monitor on. Well, then actually take a shower today, clean yourself up, and turn your camera on. No, this is serious business because that's the first thing. Right now, re-engineer your DEI program and replace it with what I have a program I've been working on for 10 years, Intolerance of Intolerance, creating a safe environment for humans. It's for everyone, perfectly legal.
Yeah.
And now look what you're doing. You first thing to tie in there, you tie in your anti-harassment and anti-bullying. Boom, there you go. That is in there. And the government has said you have to do this.
Yeah.
So they're not going to take it away from you. Second, what does that also do? It takes care of your preventing workplace violence. Let me tell you right now, the human animal, if you pick on them because they're white, because they're black, because they're old, because they're young, because of whatever, you keep doing that, you're going to get a stapler in the head one day.
Well, and let's remind them, too, that perception drives reality.
Oh, yes.
And whether the individual is intending to be harassing or intended to be bullying,
right,
it doesn't matter. Unless you're engaging with that individual or your team as a whole, you don't really know how they're perceiving what's going on in the company.
Right. So there better be some conversation between them. And here we go back to your point. You don't just put in a video to supervise people. You actually got to show up once in a while and talk to these folks. You hit it on the head. If I think I'm being harassed, and understand, there are people who are hypersensitive.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And there are people who are genuinely offensive.
Yeah.
This also ties into your management training. You don't just take somebody because they were a great engineer and throw them in there. Because, yes, perception is reality. The supervisor is there to keep a finger on the pulse. I'll give you a great example of how a lot of people, 3,500 people in this country right now, belong to the Flat Earth Society. I am not kidding you. No. 3,500. And I've met them. Oh, you want a treat. You want a real treat. It's like I should pay them, okay? And I'll ask them questions. And I'm like, and everybody in the room is like, oh, yeah, that's Ed. Ed's nuts. But I'm like, well, how do you explain tides? And Ed says, well, that's because it's not really flat, but it's like a bowl, and the tide goes up, hits the rim of the bowl, and comes back. That's how you get tides. And he had an explanation for everything.
Oh, I should have been a fly on the wall.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was great. But I will tell you, that is exactly when someone takes their beliefs to the nth degree, it becomes a cult.
Well,
you drink the Kool-Aid.
We're in a very, very different time, right here. And we're taping the show on February 13th of 2025. Did you see the news this morning on Worcester, Massachusetts?
No, what's going on there?
It's become a sanctuary city for LBG, and that community was talking about how everybody was now discriminating against them, and they were putting them at huge risk for their health and their lives.
Okay.
Because the government wasn't going to protect them anymore with DEI programs and all the special treatment, and so the Worcester Council had to step up and say, well, we will.
Okay.
That's a pretty big ask.
Oh, and I'll tell you, that's the one thing is we can pass laws, and that's my 30th year of practicing employment law, and I will tell you right now, employment law is the busiest area of the law. It's booming. It's booming. Just saying that, okay, these people are going to protect you. No, the community in which you live in, what is the culture? And that's what I'm talking about when you go to work. If you live in a community that absolutely hates, and I mean hates, LGBTQ, which, okay, whatever, there's absolutely nothing the government's going to be able to do about it.
No. And that's, again, to your point, as business owners, as leaders in your company, you have a responsibility to provide a safe and secure workplace.
Right.
I mean, it's a whole new twist to the general duty clause. But now it should take on a whole new meaning in terms of just even providing that assurance that, hey, you very well could be promoted, or you could very well could be selected for. We're not going to be looking at other things. We're going to be looking at your competencies and your skill sets, and
Right.
how you meet the needs of the business.
Right. And I'll tell you. So you take all these programs. You take your safety program as part of this, because it's just perfect. Is it safe for you to come to work? And I've done safety conferences all over the place. Is it safe to come to work? You think about your fingers, you think about your eyes, your toes. I'm talking about the number one health threat to your brain and your body.
I was hoping you'd go that direction.
Oh my God, that's a huge one. Let me just tell you, I have 4 dear friends right now who the distress from bullying at work, no, 6, because I got a couple more this year that went on to disability. In the last 12 months, 6 of my friends in human resources who have been bullied so badly, they've gone on to disability.
HR?
HR, yeah. And 2 of them are attorneys.
Oh, my
Because
gosh.
here's what happens. All right. Now, and this is a big thing. So, do you want people to really buy into your culture? Great. Scare the bejeebies out of them. Because the most dangerous thing you can do with your life is spend 8 hours a day where your gut is churning because you're being bullied.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh, great.
It's 40% worse than smoking. Actually, rather than work in a toxic work environment, it would actually be 40% healthier for you to go start smoking.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that is a fact. That's from Harvard Medical College. Okay.
Are those cigarettes, or is that cocaine, or what are we talking about?
Oh, you put cocaine in there, you won't care. So there's that felony thing we got to worry about still. So we'll substitute that for pot in those states where it's legal.
Oh, that's right. That's
states.
right. Okay.
But here's what happens first of all, is you release all this cortisol and adrenaline. If my car won't start or my computer goes down, your gut's going to go off. That's your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys and release all this adrenaline and cortisol.
Yeah.
But your body knows your car won't kill you. It knows that other human being might kill you. So this goes back to Fred Flintstone. You're going to release 3 times the cortisol and adrenaline. Now, what that's going to do is your inflammation system in your body is going to kick in. Just like you twist your ankle's going to swell, inflammation to keep the bacteria and everything out. Your entire body swells. So that's why people lose their hair when they're under distress, because the entire skin is stretching, cuts off the blood flow to the hair, and it falls out.
Oh my gosh.
That's why you get rashes, because your entire body is inflaming, okay? We've now discovered it will not just aggravate rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, MS. It will cause those conditions to come alive. It will give you Alzheimer's. Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
believe
doubt.
that.
And one of my friends, what it does is it also lowers your immune system, and the virus in her body, which would have been fine if she'd have stayed away from all this distress of the bullying. I told her 2 years before, you got to get another job. This is killing you. A virus, her neurologist told her, this virus has awoken in your body, and it has paralyzed the left side of her face.
Oh gosh. So let's.
Intolerance is bad, okay? Intolerance is bad.
And the sad part is, we still go back. Let's talk about bullies.
Yeah.
Because, and then my favorite topic of enabling, we allow this stuff to creep in.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we think it's okay because that's just who they are.
Yeah.
Or, well, she's been here forever.
Yeah.
Or, you just need to get used to it. And
Yeah.
we can't do that anymore.
No, that's illegal.
Under no circumstances.
Well, and that's the thing, is there's a doctrine in every state in the union called public policy. And really, I like the public policy doctrine, because if you've got something that says it's illegal to pick on someone because of their age, like, hey, boomer, or, just all kinds of horrible things that I'm hearing, you have a law because people believe that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's the public policy. That's the culture of society. So let me tell you, the culture of society today is becoming polarized.
Yeah.
That the left is swinging and punching at the right and punching at the right and the left and everything. And then we come to work, and that comes into our workplace. I'm saying no. I'll tell people, look, we're going to put a bubble over this workplace. It's like Wakanda, okay? Nothing bad's getting in here. And if you live your life the way that everybody else does, you won't survive here. Mm-hmm. We are going to have a safe environment, and that means there's no bullying. We're going to define bullying, so you've taken, and harassment, so you've taken care of the EEOC and the United States Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. Preventing violence, not just Alice training where you got an active shooter. Mm-hmm. Too late then.
Right.
We're going to prevent workplace violence, okay? We are going to adopt safety as part of our health and wellness, okay? Oh, by the way, if your hair is falling out or you get a rash because your body's swelling from distress, you are already at least halfway to burning your brain and getting active post-traumatic stress disorder, like 30% of all Americans have.
Oh, my gosh.
100 million Americans plus have active PTSD. That means when you're driving on the expressway and someone cuts you off, don't flip them off. Do not do that.
Talk to me about your new programs. You've got some resources for our listeners to take part in?
Yeah, actually, if you go to my website, scottwarrick.com, real easy, just do Scott Warrick and I come up all over the place. Go to my website, and I've actually started an organization. The national organization is FAIR, the Foundation Against Intolerance and Racism.
Oh, okay.
Non-political. We got Democrats, we got Republicans, we got communists, we got socialists, we got a little something for everybody. All colors, all genders, whatever that is to whoever you are, all of everything. It is for all humans. And so I'd had it with being canceled because of, these illegal tactics and everything. So I started Ohio Fair. Ohio didn't have a chapter. And so I said, well, I'll do it. I mean, I'm really upset, and I think I don't want to have this type of world for my sons. And so I started Ohio Fair in October, and now we're up to about 700 members here in the first part of February 2025.
Here in Ohio?
Oh, yeah, we're booming. Oh,
yeah. My gosh, Scott, I had no idea.
Oh, yeah, people are sick of the hate. They are sick of the right punching at the left punching at the right, and bump, bump, bump. And so one of the things I've been working on for 10 years is, and the program I call is Intolerance of Intolerance, Creating a Safe Work Environment for Humans. Okay, so I take all of your programs. You employers have too many programs. You got too many programs. It's all your culture. And what's it boil down to? We are going to be tolerant, which means I'm not going to pick on you because you're different. And this is an important point. I will never tell you what to believe. A lot of DEI programs say, well, you have to believe this, or you have to be accepting of that. No. When I was actually that was a real case I was telling you about. I had a Satanist working for an Amish company here in Ohio. She wasn't a Satanist when, they got hired. I mean, Let me tell you, your chances of getting hired when you go walking in with a satanic Bible are greatly reduced, okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably what's going to happen. But I went up and talked to him, and they explained how evil this person is because she's a Satanist. Now, she's the same person she was last week when she was Amish, but now that she's Satanist, she's, really bad. So I said, I support your beliefs. I will support your beliefs till I die. I will never tell you what to believe, but I'm going to talk about your behaviors. That's what I want to work on, because she's recorded you and she's going to sue you and she's going to win and take your house.
Love those cell phones.
Oh, yeah. So, by the way, employers, if you think you're going to hide this stuff, your employees are secretly recording you. I promise you. But it's actually a 20-program series of everything from what is legal, what is the subconscious, how does it work, what is dehumanization, what is equity versus equality, what is power, how do people get power, and how does that shift?
Yeah.
All of these types of topics. How do you address and resolve conflict? How does intolerance in your organization damage your brain? How does intolerance in your organization kill you? Yeah. All of these programs, and the way they're designed is they're going to be like half-hour videos, but I've got discussion questions in there.
Good.
I every single one says, how is it safe to be in your environment? Like, how safe is it? Yeah. So Bob is working for you on Friday, and Bob over the weekend transitions. Bob comes into work for you on Monday, but now he's Betty. Mm-hmm. He's wearing a wig. She has shaved her beard, is wearing a dress. Is it safe for Betty? Is somebody going to pick? Because if somebody's picking on Betty, who says I can't pick on you because you're white? Mm-hmm. Because you're Catholic. Mm-hmm. And so it's a whole new way of looking at things. And I'm really hanging my hat that if you are an intolerant person, you are going to die young. It cuts your full life expectancy short by 40%. Yeah. So all you got to do is go to scottwarrick.com. No matter where you are in the country, join Ohio Fair. Actually, the second Friday of every month at noon Eastern Standard Time, we have a free podcast.
Oh, okay.
And you come in. The next one, we're going to talk all about DEI and what the alternatives are, but they're posted on my website now. There's one right now on what is dehumanization, what is competitive victimization, which actually explains why Gaza and Israel are at war right now.
Yeah.
And all of these types of things that are legal and that you want in your work site. So if Target, for instance, would put this in place, they could go to the far, far right people and the far, far left and say, yes, we've replaced this with a program that promotes tolerance and it's safe for all fellow human beings.
And isn't that what we want for everybody?
I do.
That's the environment I want to work in. I know you're such an expert on this topic. Ladies and gentlemen, please check out his books, Living the 5 Skills of Tolerance, as well as Healing the Human Brain, which is a real deep read. But again, if I can get through it, anybody can. ScottWarrick.com.
Yeah, ScottWarrick.com.
Yeah.
Go to Free Lunch and Learns.
And again, I know it's a tough topic, and I know you're having some tough conversations, but even if you have to have your teams listen to these podcasts, please do, because this is we've got to get this all turned around. Mm-hmm. Scott, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. And then thank you for listening. We appreciate you as well. Keep your comments coming. I read every one of them. That's it for today at The Human Resource.